Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. We are very honored to introduce our research to you guys. Our research focuses on international students' use of dating apps in a cross-cultural context. Why are we doing this study? First, nowadays, dating apps like Tinder, Bumble are everywhere. We are talking over 10 million active users per day. This has led to a surge in research about why and how people use these apps. And we are also seeing a rise in the number of international students. These students are like cultural ambassadors, bringing different worlds together. Their experience and how they blend culture have become a big deal. Now, when it comes to international students using dating apps, there's a whole mix of reasons. Think about it. They are in a new country trying to navigate different languages, customers, and ways of life. So these apps might be about finding friends, learning new languages, or just exploring the local scene. Although it's a digital world, it can still pose challenges for how international students fit into their new surroundings. So that's where we come in. We are not just filling a gap in the literature, we are aiming to provide insights to help these students adapt better, integrate socially, and maybe even give some pointers on how dating apps can be more supportive in the future. Based on this, we came up with two research questions to explore the relationship between international students' motives and behaviors in using dating apps and how it affects their cross-cultural adaptation. The first one is, what do Chinese international students who are keen on using dating apps deserve to gain from them? How does the information they obtain affect their usage behaviors? The second one is, how does the usage behaviors of dating apps among Chinese international students affect their cross-cultural adaptation? Next, let's briefly review the literature. Regarding international students, we focus on how their cross-cultural adaptation needs influence their use of social media. We found that most studies currently focus on the process of cultural adaptation, with social media platforms being mainstream ones like Instagram and Facebook. Our study considers dating apps as social media and focuses on their roles in facilitating social connections, cultural integration, and overall well-being for international students. As for research on dating apps, existing studies primarily focus on four aspects: the advantages and disadvantages of using dating apps, individual motivations, self-presentation, and potential risks. While some literature has explored the association between cultural factors and dating apps use, it has mainly centered on sexual minority groups or issues of racial discrimination, lacking exploration from a cross-cultural aspects. Therefore, from a literature standpoint, our study aims to fill this gap.
The third section is the theoretical foundation, which consists of two parts: domestication theory and acculturation theory. Domestication theory originated from the concept of taming wild animals in biology. In communication studies, it clarified the intricate dynamics of human interaction with technology, describing how individuals integrate, reject, or accept technological innovation in their daily lives. British scholar Roger Selveston laid the groundwork for domestication theory. The theory describes a dynamic process wherein humans discipline media technology through daily interactions, imbuing it with human characteristics. This process unfolds through four fundamental stages: objectification, appropriation, incorporation, and conversion. Branson and his colleagues further explored domestication theory, emphasizing three key dimensions: practical, symbolic, and cognitive. Additionally, Shang-Wei Wu introduced a fourth dimension, relational, highlighting the transformative impact of new media technologies on social dynamics. Thus, domestication theory underscores the necessity for negotiation and coordination among social actors affected by technological advancements. The cross-cultural media. Acculturation theory illuminates the profound transformation engaged when disparate cultures converge. Formed by Rolfit in 1936. Acculturation compasses the magnificent changes arising from sustained intercultural contact, often culminating in cultural assimilation. Harry further refined acculturation theory, positing it as pivotal to comprehending individuals in intercultural contexts. He described four distinct acculturation strategies contingent upon individuals' inclinations towards cultural preservation or integration into the broader societal fabric. Non-dominant groups: assimilation, separation, integration, and in conclusion, acculturation theory unveils the intricate dance between cultural preservation and societal integration.
Now let me introduce the research method and the design part. To answer the research questions, we used snowball sampling and in-depth interviews for data collection. We conducted in-depth interviews with international students who have used the dating apps and have had cross-cultural adaptation experience. 5 interviewees were recruited in the pre-interview stage, and during the formal interview stage, we interviewed a total of 25 Chinese students with different backgrounds and experience of studying abroad, following the principle of information saturation with maximum variation. Once the data collection was completed, we processed the interview data using NVivo for coding and analysis. In order to code the data with reliable confidence and to ensure consistency, it was done by one person for both pre-interview and formal interview. Then, we constructed a conceptualization model using tertiary coding based on grounded theory to explain how dating apps affect international students' cross-cultural adaptation. Please refer to the data analysis section for specific coding results.
The results section of the data analysis follows. First, in the open coding stage, we imported the information from the 25 interview scripts into NVivo for collation and analysis. Through repeated reading of the interviewees' words, we summarized and integrated the information mentioned in the interviews to form 140 initial concepts. For example analysis, paragraph from one of the scripts were selected to better understand the coding process. In interviewee M12's script, it was mentioned that she felt more confident after using the dating app because her body shape was not limited to Chinese aesthetic standards, but could be appreciated by more diverse cultural perspectives. Moreover, communicating with others also depended her understanding and recognition of herself. Throughout the description, key points can be summarized from the 2 directions of our research question. The first one, in terms of the use of dating apps, embodies the attributes of exchange of pluralistic views and an increased sense of self-acceptance. The second one, in terms of cross-cultural adaptation, embodies the attributes of exposure to aesthetics in different cultures and changes in self-perception. Therefore, 4 initial concepts can be coded in this paragraph. When there are subsequent expansions similar to the same concept, the number is added to this node. The next actual coding stage was entered, where concepts with similar discourse connotations were grouped into a category through further sorting and integration, and the 140 initial concepts were abstracted into 30 category types. Here we also show 2 of these examples of actual coding. Among the initial concepts we abstracted, meet a variety of people, provided sufficient social resources, and made friends who are integrated into your life based on the original interview texts. They all point to social relation expansion in the concept of dating apps. So we refined them into one coding category, social circle expansion. Similarly, the initial concepts share and solve problems with Chinese people, integrate and respect the local cultural habits, and resolve cultural differences and misunderstandings through communication, were further abstracted as cultural adaptation strategies. Based on this, the more abstract category types provide the basis for subsequent selective coding and modeling.
We attempted to explore the logical connections between the categories based on the open coding and axial coding result, to identify the core categories that run through the SIM, to explain and answer the research questions. Through our logical cascade, it was found that the current information surfaced 7 sub-main categories, and they can be further summarized as 3 main categories of needs, dating app usage behavior, and acculturation. By organizing and reclassifying the axial coding, as well as going back to the open codes and original interviews, we organized and reclassified the secondary codes. For example, we classified personality display, identity, and image management into self-expression needs. As in both the original text and in the secondary coding, interviewees are describing how they present themselves through dating apps. Based on this logic, we then get another 2 sub-main categories, social relationship needs and cross-cultural adaptation needs, which lead to our main core category, needs. Through the above steps, we would like to refine the 3 core categories of needs, dating app usage behavior, and acculturation, and summarize the internal logic and deep relationship between the categories into the following model, which illustrates the process in which the dating app use in the cross-cultural context affects acculturation. When entering a new cultural environment, international students will have 3 needs: self-expression, social relationship building, and cross-cultural communication. Based on these needs, they will adjust and change their behaviors in the context of dating app use. With these behaviors, international students will undergo different degrees of acculturation in the 3 terms of culture, self, and social.
Now, let me introduce the conclusion. What do Chinese international students who are keen on using dating apps desire to gain from them? How does the information they obtain affect their usage behavior? They are the first set of questions that the research aimed to answer. Through the organization of interview data, we categorize the needs of using dating apps into 3 types: cross-cultural adoption needs, self-expression needs, and social relationship needs. Part 1. Self and other coexistence, community integration, and cross-cultural adoption. The study found that Chinese international students who primarily use dating apps to meet their cross-cultural adoption needs have the following key characters. In matching preference, international students balance between associating with those who have a similar cultural background for better understanding and engaging with diverse culture for deeper conversation and broader experience. By adapting to the local usage pattern to these apps, they bridge cultural gaps, aiding their integration and enhance their sense of community identification and belonging. The use of dating apps extends beyond dating to include practical functions like language practice, local travel advice, and gaining unique local insights. These apps provide a way to gain local knowledge and integrate into local life. Part 2. Emotional cocoon, self-expression, and emotional refuge. The study found that international students use dating apps to manage feeling of loneliness and cultural discomfort by enhancing self-expression and seeking emotional support. Dating apps serve as a tool for creating meaning and providing support. International students can present their true selves or construct idealized roles through profile settings. Additionally, dating apps promote more inclusive social interactions and cultural exchanges, allowing users to feel safer and more understood communicating. In addition, finding oneself inwardly through dating app is also a primary need for some international students. It helps them maintain psychological stability through the integration for social interaction and self-awareness. Part 3. Unveiling the social tapestry, exploring the societal connections of dating app. Chinese international students primarily use dating apps to satisfy the need for intimacy and expanding their social circle, while the needs reflect their cost for social support and a sense of belonging, which in turn influence their behavior on dating apps. The first is social interaction. International students may differentiate between real-life and virtual social interactions and decide where to be more proactive and engaged, depending on different needs and associations. Secondly, the attitude towards social relationships. For example, when encountering a variety of people and association in dating apps, individuals began to think about how they handle these situations and whether their behavior is consistent with social norms or expectation. This reflective process influences individuals' perception and attitude towards social relationship, which in turn affect their social behavior in daily life.
Here is the second section of the conclusion, where we will utilize social cognitive theory to discuss how dating app use affects international student cooperation in 3 different ways. Firstly, facilitation of self-adaptation by dating app. Self-concept is our internal mirror, reflecting who we believe we are based on our characteristics, roles, and values. Dating app plays a role here by providing both a mirror and a window, internal reflections augmented by external feedback. Dating app enhance the self-awareness and boost confidence by allowing us to interact with a diverse range of individuals. Positive feedback on this platform not only uplift but empower us to express ourselves more freely and confidently. However, the journey isn't always smooth. Negative experiences such as unmet expectations or ghosting can invoke strong emotional responses. Secondly, facilitation of social adaptation by dating app. Dating apps open doors to a diverse range of people, helping students to overcome social barriers and broaden their horizons. Whether it's meeting peers from different academic backgrounds or professionals, this platform enhances social networks in meaningful ways. These apps are more than just a means to pass time. They form deep, supportive connections. They counteract loneliness and provide companionship, which is vital for students far from home. Moreover, for those grappling with identity issues, dating apps provide a space to explore and affirm one's identity through diverse interactions, helping students find their place in a new community. Secondly, facilitation of co-creation by dating app. According to social culture theory and a co-creation model, language serves not only as a means of communication, but as a crucial tool for social interaction and learning. Dating apps offer a unique platform where language and culture intermingle, allowing international students to immerse themselves in the local language and customs in real time. Through regular interactions on dating apps, students find an informal, low-tension, yet effective venue for practicing and improving their language skills. Moreover, dating apps extend beyond the language learning. They are a gateway to understanding and adapting to new cultural settings. Students gain first-hand experience with local behaviors, norms, and even slang, which helps them integrate more smoothly into new environments. When it comes to the limitations, firstly, the study didn't consider the difference between dating apps. The features and atmosphere of different dating apps can affect the user's usage behavior and even in return re-influence their needs. Secondly, the interviewees recruited for this study did include a different study of broad backgrounds and academic backgrounds and took into account sexual minorities. But it cannot be said that it fully represents all groups of Chinese international students who have used the dating apps. Finally, this study remains at the theoretical discussion stage and lacks specific guiding suggestions, which can be supplemented and improved in subsequent research. From a theoretical point of view, this study starts from use and gratification theory and social cognitive theory. It helps to enrich the corresponding theoretical framework and provides a new perspective on understanding cross-cultural adaptation, filling a gap in this field. In a practical sense, this study provides rich data from the perspective of dating app users, which plays a certain role in improving the functions and software design of dating apps. At the same time, it also provides ideas for developing dating apps specifically for international students or groups with cultural adaptation needs to help them better adapt to culture. That's all for our presentation. Thanks for your listening.